Hey everybody, welcome back to HitPoint, the only show on the internet where Baku and I talk about RPGs, talk about the upcoming trends and styles of music and art and video games and JRPGs and merch and all kinds of cool stuff, anime news, niche news, JRPG news. That's what we're going to be talking about today, guys. It has
That's
been
right.
a week, man. How are you doing today?
I am doing great, man. Some stuff in IRL, but otherwise we're doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. It's just, last week I was getting timestamps and everything ready for the show, and the first thing I hear when I started up the show is, "Hey everybody, welcome back to Super Derek Streams." I was like, "No, no!" But this time I nailed the intro more or less, and
I think so.
I'm
Yes.
feeling pretty good about today. It's gonna be a
You
good
feeling?
day.
I'm feeling pretty good too. All right.
Ah,
What's next on the intro? What are we talking about next?
Well, Baku, whatever we're talking about next has got to be with, I guess, our top headline, isn't it? No, no, no. Wait. Before that,
Up, up,
we're
up, up,
going to be
up,
talking
up.
about we'll be answering some questions from comments from last week. We'll also be reviewing some trailers, talk about rumors. Normally, we schedule this stream for every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. And today, we're actually doing it at the correct, appropriate time. And yeah, I think that's about everything else.
hmm
Baku,
That's right.
what's the top headline this week? What is, in your opinion, the top headline? I didn't actually pick one out this time.
In my humble opinion, the top headline is Square Enix is finally acting on their NFT promise. Find out what they're doing coming up.
Yeah, and just to get people interested in this because it's NFTs and nobody's interested. Baku did say at before the show that it's actually not that terrible of an implementation this time, but we'll talk about that.
Yes.
It's surprisingly like not awful this time, but we'll talk about it more a little bit. Um,
Yeah, we're gonna discuss
that
this. We're
that's
gonna discuss.
yeah, that's the
Yeah,
little teaser to keep your interests peaked here. Ah,
that's right.
but before we
For
do
all the
that,
folks who are here. Yeah.
yeah, before we do that, before we dive in and allow Baku to explain himself, we'll respond to some comments from the chat, including this one here from John over at the Detecting Zone. Awesome channel, by the way. If you're into metal detecting, check him out. He says, "I recently opened all of my sealed games, even the limited collector's editions, a PSP game, and a few PS Vita and PS4 titles as well. I don't keep," he says, "I don't keep games, even collector's editions sealed. They deserve to be played." And
Bravo.
and just like that, I heard 1,000 voices cry out in pain. No.
I opened my limited edition. I buy them for me. I opened them absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some like items within the limited edition box that maybe I don't open, right? Just I
Yeah.
don't have a need for them.
Mhm.
But otherwise, like I basically open all of mine. I bought them for me. I
Yeah.
didn't buy them for resale, so I don't care. Like,
Yeah. No, I do keep mine sealed at least until I decide that it's time to play them, because I've learned this about myself, is that I have this habit of like, I mean, I always used to open them as soon as I'd get them in the car. Be like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to open it up, see what's inside." But now I realize I don't play games as often like as I buy them. So if I get them sealed, like I have I have aspirations of playing every single one of them. And when I do, I will open them all. But in the off chance that they've skyrocketed, to 3,000% of their original price, and I happen to still have one that's sealed at the time, maybe I'll buy an open box instead. And, yeah, that's my
yeah.
mentality is I'll get to it and I intend to open it. But if it in the meantime explodes in value, maybe I'll get a loose copy and
Smart man.
yeah.
Smart man. I actually still haven't opened my Ida Somni and Found Nirvana initiative for that reason. But I plan on doing that on stream at some point, which we'll talk a little bit about. Let's talk about another comment that we have.
Yeah.
We got one from Levy. This is a pretty cool
Or
one.
is
So
that
it's
is that Levi?
is it Levy or Levi?
I think that's Levi.
Levi it is. As tech evolves, games with that genuine artistic flavor, like Fuga seem to come rarely outside the indie scene. I hope as time goes on, more developers remember there are still many gamers out there who love that type of game and art. And in between all the photorealism of recent games, sometimes we just want some beautiful hand drawn stuff to fall in love with. Until then, I keep playing the old games that I didn't have the chance to play in my childhood via emulators.
Yeah, it's a great
Yeah,
point. You know,
it's true.
I feel like that they raise a really great point, and that is that sometimes, you know, artistically pleasing games does not equal like photorealistic games, and in fact
That's
seldom
right.
does. There are some games that blur that line a little bit. You know, they can be kind of photorealistic, but show like some surreal scenes of like
Mhm.
vibrant and gorgeous settings and stuff.
Yeah.
But the ones that always seem to, in my opinion, age the best are like the cell shaded graphics from like the PlayStation 2 era, like Dark
Mhm.
Cloud 2, for instance, still looks incredible.
Yeah.
The original Jet Set Radio or Jet Grind Radio, depending on where you are, again, the cell shaded, it's super stylistic, and they weren't trying to be photorealistic. Wind Waker, same deal.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I guess I just named three that, like cell shaded, but even beyond just cell shading, I feel like the less they aim for photorealism, the better they tend to hold up over time.
That's true. That is true. I mean, high polygon count and, high definition is not the same as like great aesthetics, right? Like it
Mhm.
could be, but you could also have a game that has photorealistic people in, super dull and ugly settings, and that's not aesthetics at all, right? So you kind of have to hit both. And
Mhm.
if you have a set budget, you should definitely try to go for the aesthetics when like angle versus the photorealistic angle. That's reserved for like the triple A budget.
Yeah.
Like let the big companies deal with that. But in terms of like more established companies too that are doing some of these games that straddles the line between like a big company and like an indie sort of aesthetics, there are some games out there even now that has those sort of looks to it. I played the game called what is it called? The Great Hero and wait, is it the Demon King and the Great Hero?
Oh, is
I
that
cannot
the one where
remember.
like
Yeah.
it's kind of like a story time where they're talking about the
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes. It's got a great
we
story.
talked about it
It
a few
looks
times on the
great.
show actually, I think.
We
Yeah.
did, we did. So that's a game that has these sort of, picture book aesthetics that, and the gameplay it's subpar for an RPG, but I think the story and the, everything else in the aesthetics are definitely way more than mixed up for it. And it's not a full game price tag either. It's like $20-$30. So, I think that's worthwhile. From the same folks who made that, they also have this game called like The Liar Princess and the Blind Prince. That's also another game that looks beautiful.
Mhm.
Yomawari, the game where you run around and try to solve this sort of like Japanese horror
Oh, yeah.
mystery. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that also's got these like great aesthetics to it.
Reminded me a lot
That
of, Bastion, I think that one did.
Yes, yes, yes. So there are definitely games like that out there, if you look for it, and we're definitely going to report some of these games. Like what's another one that I thought was pretty cool that we both thought was pretty cool was the one that looks kinda like a Persona slash, like,
Oh,
Italian horror movie, that one,
yeah.
I forgot the name of it, but, we talked about in previous show. That also looks amazing. It's got this great aesthetics, right? So, definitely there are definitely games like that coming up, and we're definitely gonna keep, reporting on
Oh,
those.
yeah.
So,
We'll
stay
showcase
tuned.
them all as they show up.
Yes.
Anyway,
Alright.
yeah. So we also actually don't have any voicemails this week, but if you would like to leave us a voicemail, you may do so at 785-337-3805. And if you do leave us a voicemail there's a very good chance that it'll be played on the air and we'll have a discussion about it as well. So yeah, if you have interest, you can do so, or you can also just email us a voice file to hitpoint at superderekRPGs.com.
Absolutely. So, Derek, there is one thing that we haven't really touched on yet. So, what exactly have you been up to lately?
Not much. My bad. There's a reason
Hmm.
I kind of didn't talk about that very much. It's like
Oh.
I've been kind of I mean I've been working on some stuff behind the scenes, but nothing really um nothing really to talk about as far as like it relates to Super Dark RPG's channel and stuff. I guess I've been taking a little bit of a break, a little mental health break, I guess, and
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And me too, because I, oh my God, I said that I was gonna upload a weekly video for Weep Sauce. I have not done that. And
Oh.
I've barely streamed at all on my Twitch channel either, because I've also been taking a slight like mental break. I kind of explained it on Twitter, but some
Hmm.
in real life things happening, new job, my mother's medical bill is having some issue and it's driving me crazy. It's not the end of the world, but it's
Yeah.
just insurance company is, arguing against the medical center, arguing against the surgical center, which is a completely different billing department. I didn't know that,
Hmm.
right? But so it's all kinds of stuff happening.
That
But you
sounds
know,
exactly like what insurance companies do.
yeah. Mm. All the reason why they're charging so much money is so that they have to create this convoluted system and keep it running, right?
I
It's
know.
insane. But I think that there will be some exciting stuff coming from us soon. So please stay tuned for that. Any questions and comments from super chats, of course, will come at the very end. We'll be answering them. So if there are burning questions for Derek and myself, please be sure to use that super chat power and force us to read your comments. Do it, you coward.
Jeez.
Anyways, let's start with some corrections from last week's show. And I apologize and thank you for those who point out some of these mistakes. I go back and double check them. Some of them are just like straight up blatant mistakes. Other ones are like tucked in the corner. I just didn't read
Hmm.
it. So let's start with the Bayonetta 3 limited edition. Last week I said that it is a Nintendo Store exclusive. That is not the case. As Colin slash Delicious Morsels is pointing out to me on Twitter, that is not necessarily the case. The Trinity Masquerade edition is available for pre-order in GameStop and Best Buy. Ironically, though, when I read the post, I'm like, okay, you got it from Best Buy. Let me click and see. It was out of stock in Best Buy.
Oh.
It's available, but also not available. But I think it came back. Like, so
Hmm.
maybe it was just because I checked again, it was up again. So mileage may vary, but hey, look, if my friend actually went to GameStop store and pre-ordered in store, so she was able to get her copy.
Oh,
So
good.
I guess she won't be suffering my, because remember that friend that I told you about that
Yeah.
is a big fan. Yeah, well, she's not gonna have to deal with what I had to deal with Xenoblade Chronicles because that was a Nintendo and still is a Nintendo exclusive. So there's that.
Yeah.
So that's correction one.
Hmm.
The second correction is a little bit more minor. I mentioned that there are Fire Emblem Three Houses pop-up parade, and that the Golden Deer house has not been announced. Actually, it has been announced, but it was announced in this like small little box within an announcement that I didn't read from their official site. So I'm just like, okay. But thank you so
Okay.
much, Fetty Can, for pointing that out. The announcement is actually that was it Claude? Yeah, Claude and Lysithia will be available for pre-order in August. So in a couple of days, we should hear the official pre-order announcement for those two. So pretty awesome. Still
Awesome.
looking for Byleth though, like the main character, and
Yeah.
we think that there's a high chance that they're gonna, release those because obviously the main character is super popular and has already gotten like full scale figures. So definitely we'll see pop-up parade versions of those. So that's the corrections from last week.
Yeah.
We do try to do our best to keep it straight, but sometimes, we do make some mistakes, and we be sure to let you know if when that does happen. So
All right. Yep. I mean,
no,
we are certainly not infallible, but we'll make it up when we make mistakes. We'll do our best to address them. So,
yeah.
yeah,
Now
keep us
now I'm
honest,
gonna go
guys. Thank you very much.
I'm gonna go on an apology tour. Okay.
Hmm. All right. All right. Remember the training that I gave you the other day. How does it start? You are now an official YouTuber. How do you start an apology video, Baku?
I need do I cry first
No, no.
or
If you start, you gotta start with an exhale. Just be like, perfect, masterful. Okay, just practice that, and then
Mhm.
and then you'll use that for your apology tour. All right. Moving along, guys, we have some delays, or really just a delay that we should probably talk about today.
Slight delay. Slight
Yeah,
delay.
it's Thymesia, I think is how you might pronounce it.
Yes,
Anyways,
I think so. Yeah.
so Overborder Studio and Team 17 have delayed the release date of this title once again for Thymesia, the upcoming Souls-like action RPG, but only by a couple of days. So yeah, they're moving the release date from the 9th of August to the 18th of August. So you have, an extra week and a half or so.
Mm.
Now, the reason is because it's going to take a couple days to adjust the game based on the community feedback to optimize the overall experience. So you want to take a quick gander at the trailer that we have here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty.
Rated M for mature.
All right, guys, this is a mature game. No immature people may watch this. Hey, that actually looks...
It looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm. It looks a little bit more Bloodborne-y than Soulsy.
Soul, yeah.
A little more aggressive from the looks of things. Also a little bit more dashy.
Yeah.
But it looks like it favors the offense and the dodging, and
It's almost like there is a you can almost write like a scale of these kind of like action RPG between like say Nier Automata to like a proper Souls game.
yeah,
Like you can almost slide
Like
a scale of like how dashy
spectrum.
and offensive. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
East would be like on the one farther end of the spectrum where like you can just kind of go ham and take some damage, or like absolutely no damage allowed, like 2 hits and you're dead. And that would be like the Soul's End. So
That would be
super
really
cool.
interesting. I'd like to hear that spectrum kind of drawn out, mapped out. Like, maybe not, wouldn't not be like the way of like a tier list, but I would be
Mhm.
really interested in seeing you do something like that, where you might do a tier list of like, I don't even know what the ranks would be, but like grouping
Yeah.
different I guess it'd be like a sliding scale between hack and slash towards
More
Soulsborne.
methodical, yeah.
Yeah.
More methodical, observe your opponent, no mistakes allowed kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, anyways, the game is going to be released on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, S, and onto PC. And I think it looks pretty darn like decent as far as like as far as the deluge of Soulsborne clones go. And I don't use that word in this case. I'm not trying to be like derogatory about it, but like it's started this entire genre, right?
Yeah.
That's being filled in at this point. And as far as those go, that looked pretty solid as far
Yeah.
as like trying to kind of attain that same at least visually speaking from the trailer, so
Yeah,
keep your eyes peeled
absolutely.
if that is of interest to you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we've got a good amount of like fans in here. Well, hopefully fans of us, but more importantly, fans of like Souls games in general. So yeah, we'll definitely be keeping our eyes on those. And is there anything that pops up that you guys are interested in? Let us know in the comments, man. We're interested in knowing what you're interested in, so that we're making sure that we're covering things that would appeal to all of you. So
That's right.
definitely let us know. All right. So some updates to the past releases, and this is gonna start off with some bad news. But hey, look, don't shoot the messenger. Okay, I'm just here to tell you what Atlas is telling us, and Atlas has confirmed on a Persona channel blog post that owners of the PS4 version of the game will not be getting a free upgrade to PS5. That matters to like the 10 of you that managed to get a PS5 and was
That's
looking
true.
forward to playing Persona 5 Royal on that spanking new PS5. Yeah, I'm one of you. Hey, listen, don't hurt me. I'm one of you. I have the PS4 version. I bought it on day one, still haven't played it, still in wrap. I was hoping that I can get that free upgrade into PS5, so I'm like, play it. Yeah, not happening.
I'll be very curious in seeing a side-by-side comparison of Persona 5 Royal PS4 played on a PS5 versus the PS5 upgrade. I would like to see what does the upgrade actually do? Because the visual aesthetics of
Mhm.
Persona 5 on PS4 and heck even on PS3 are such that it's really hard to distinguish like what how best should I say this?
Yeah.
I guess maybe not Persona 5 Golden or Royal, because Persona 5
Mhm.
Royal was only on PS4.
PS4. Yeah.
But the original Persona 5 was also on PS4 and PS3. And it was so hard to distinguish between the two.
Mhm.
And they looked incredible on both systems.
Yeah.
But that was an early PS4 title. So
Mhm.
I don't know.
You know, funny you mentioned that, right? Because as I'm writing this thing, I was actually looking through and trying to find, if there are any kind of like talking points from Atlas about like the PS5 version. Like, oh, we're gonna have 140 FPS, say, or like full 60 FPS, no drops, right? At
Mhm.
4K, right? Nothing. I couldn't find anything, right? I can only assume that it would be that based on other games with a PS5 version. But I've not found any solid, marketing kind
Yeah.
of language from Atlas
No
that
selling points
promises
given.
these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, there really isn't a huge, difference until they can, demonstrate it. So I, like you, I would love to see a comparison between the two.
Well, I
But
can
it
tell
would
you at
be
least
nice.
one
Yeah.
difference, and that is that the PS5 version's probably going to be up for sale for how much? Like $70? Maybe not 70, but probably for a lot more than the PS4 version that you could easily acquire at this point at, a used copy for instance.
Well,
So,
one thing I do know about the PS5 version is that it will come with all previous DLCs in a single package, but that's about it. That speaks nothing about performance.
mhm.
You will be getting all the DLCs, which is great if that's what you care about, and not so great if you don't. But yeah, full price. I'm expecting full price. Atlas, man. He's going to charge full price.
Maybe. Well,
Hmm.
I mean, I feel like they have to realize this is the third time they're releasing it on a different console at this point. It'd be a little on the nose to, I
And
don't
it
know.
comes with all the DLCs. It comes with all the DLCs, Derek.
Yeah, it does.
Hmm.
Anyways, No More Heroes 3 is getting a port to other consoles, and we have a release date at this point.
Finally.
Finally, yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Xseed Games have confirmed that the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X, S, and PC port of No More Heroes 3 will now be available on October 11th of this year.
Yeah.
You wanna
More
see-
games this year.
Hey!
Hey.
I needed more games to not be able to play. You
Mm.
want to take a look at this new trailer on the next gen consoles?
Yes, please.
I'll be
Yes,
very curious to see how this looks.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Again, it's a mature game, so if you're immature, you may
It's only polite to
look
accept
away.
an invitation to kick ass.
Look at that, Travis.
I know. He's so cool.
I know. See, this is another one of those series that like I've always been meaning to play and I never did.
Oh man,
Is
it's
this
great.
the Bayonetta? Yeah.
It's so great.
My name is Travis Touchdown. I'm
Look
the
at that
best
hair.
hero around.
He's
I'm
so
here to
cool.
Save the world. Here we go.
I think you should grow your hair out, Derek, and get this cut.
I've had it before. I want his jacket. I want a
If
Travis
we-
Touchdown jacket and the
If we
glasses.
get you the jacket, will you get this hair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I
There
don't
you
know if
go.
I'll dye it black, but you bet.
You don't have to dye black. Because
Okay.
that's a pain. Yeah. But we'll crowdfund the jacket, I think.
What I love about his I can't remember what the name of his sword is at this point, the light sword. What I think is super cool about it is that it's designed in such a way that you could feasibly cosplay it actually pretty okay. With like some LED strips or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks like things are
I'm pretty sure
getting
someone
good
has done it.
today.
Wait, what? You can
Have
mow
you not
people's
seen the
lawns?
mini games?
No.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's mini games that take place between assassin missions where you have to raise funds in order to like various odd jobs. It's fantastic and awful
Oh
at the
my
same time.
god.
I'd be saving the world.
See, this game looks like it's just right up my alley, and I don't know why I haven't played it yet.
You should.
Jeez.
It's super fun, but also it does have problems.
Yeah, well, I mean,
At least I don't know about that game, but at least the originals had some low points that, you know, yeah, could have used a little facelifting or something.
I'm definitely gonna look to try that game out. I'm gonna get a copy. I'm gonna
Well,
try
you
that game
know,
out.
you can get No More Heroes 1 and 2 on Nintendo Switch on a single cartridge from PlayAsia.com. It's not they're not sponsoring, but I could I'll throw a link in the description maybe, and people can use that if they want, and they can help support the show that way as well using an affiliate
Also,
link.
hashtag totally will be willing to be sponsored.
Yeah,
PlayAsia.
PlayAsia. I would actually really like to pick up a sponsorship from them. They do some pretty cool stuff, but so far, no, not yet. Anyways, so on the subject of No More Heroes 3, the PlayStation and Xbox editions are available on special day one limited physical editions that come with a 70-page art book, a Santa Destroy license plate, and a soundtrack with 22 songs.
Yes.
Dude, that sounds great.
Yeah, that's actually not bad. It's
Yeah.
actually not bad. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Are you looking to get that? Are you interested at all?
Yeah, I already have it
Hmm.
on Switch, but I don't think that the Switch plays it very well, is what I've heard.
Yes, same. That's the thing. It's just it's all it's the problem with the Switch is that it's got
Yeah.
these great games, but it can't handle half of those great games,
I
and it just
know.
hurts. It just hurts.
It does. It does, but um, yeah, I
I
feel
will
like the
buy a
Switch.
Switch Pro today. Just let us have the Switch Pro already, Nintendo. I want those games played on a better console.
I
Just
feel
give me
like
the Switch Pro.
I like that the games do come out on Switch, because I feel like that's a half of the puzzle piece of helping RPGs become more mainstream is to be on Nintendo Switch on a more mainstream console that is more easily accessible to more people.
Right.
And then the
Right.
other half is advertising, but you know, nobody's really doing that these days. You ever notice that?
Yeah, well, you know what I realize is that the average audience for the Switch is actually younger than
Mhm.
like other console, which means if we want to get kids to play RPGs, get them started, it's actually pretty good that a lot of them are coming out on the Switch. And I'm speaking from totally anecdotal, but my nephews, their dad is basically, my sister's husband. Like he would buy all these consoles, and they can touch it, they can play it, but they don't.
Mhm.
They spend all their times on their iPads and their Switch
Yeah.
because it's portable.
Yeah, I guess is it weird? It seems kind of like TVs in general are becoming less important to the younger generation of kids growing up these days.
I think the touch screen and their interactivity is, a big selling point to
Yeah.
kids. Yeah, but I mean, if I am to get them to play an RPG, which I definitely am, because I'm trying to influence the older one's a lost cause. I think I can save the younger one. But the older one's playing like Roblox or like, like I don't know, like what is that game called? Call of Duty or something. I don't know. I'm like, look, you're a lost
Fortnite.
cause kid. All right, like I don't
Yeah.
care. Like you're dead to me. But as far as like my inner weeb is concerned, he's dead
Yeah,
to me.
I
I
got
still
you.
love him, but the younger one, like he loves Naruto. He was telling me that he's drawing Naruto drawing. he loves My Hero Academia. I'm like, this one's got potential. I'm gonna save this one.
Let the wind flow through you.
Yeah, I got him Arceus. He loves it. And I'm like, yes. Because we
Great.
talked about like gateway RPG, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, yes, this is the gateway.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of more games moving to ports, let's talk about East, because I know you guys love East. Speaking of, because we also recommended East to one of our viewer, and her son absolutely
Diana.
loves absolutely loves it. So I'm just so glad. So some of these action RPGs, and now there are more ways to play. So East is going to PS5. And now we have a release day, or rather release dates. I'm going to list them out because it's different region. It's going to be November 15th for North America. So US, Canada, Mexico, I believe. November 18th for Europe. And then November 25th for Oceania. So basically,
Oceania.
I guess,
Mhm.
Oceania. Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically like New Zealand, Australia, and maybe some of the Southeast Asia areas. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's going to be November 25th. So we do have a release date trailer, and this time it's not rated for mature.
Oh, all right.
So even all the immature people can stay.
Whew. All right. Good. I'm tired of breaking the rules.
I know.
So I will say, I want to keep this in mind as I watch this trailer, because this is going to be interesting, because this game was originally made for PlayStation Vita. Okay. Like for context, that this game is pretty old at this point, and it's been ported to the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, or Nintendo Switch, and now PS5. So I want to see what they do with this to make it take advantage of the hardware. Is it just the same thing, or are they actually upscaling it and stuff? So let's take a look.
Questionable.
Yeah, let's find out. Any moment now. There we go.
Every ship that approaches the Isle of Seiren sinks by some mysterious happenstance.
You know, if I was Ado, I would never ride a boat again. You know?
Oh no. Yeah, adults
This is-
should definitely just
Sorta like a
stop
family,
going
you know?
outside.
Family always sticks together, helps each other out.
All right. So visually, I can pretty well say
Another vision?
this
Or was it
is pretty much a straight port. It is not a remaster or anything.
fire?
Mhm.
What's that mean?
I think
It-
just like better frame rate.
It might be
Steady
higher
frame
frame
rate?
rate. I mean, PS.
Which
Yeah.
matters for an action game.
Yeah. Then again,
And
it
a
wasn't the
higher
problem.
resolution too.
Yeah, the higher resolution, but like, yeah,
It's a
definitely
combo
no.
between the two. Yeah.
Yeah, not a higher poly count though. Same textures.
Everyone,
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
You know.
Yep. Yeah. It is definitely a port. But so I actually got this because I missed on the PS4 limited edition. So now I bought the PS5 limited edition, sold the PS4 copy for actually more than what I bought. So I made some money off the PS4 version, which is weird.
Wait,
And then I bought
are
the-
you a
yeah,
games reseller, Baku? Ugh,
I
get
am,
out
but
of
I'm
my
not a
sight.
scalper.
I'm just kidding.
Wait a minute. We were just talking about. Wait a minute. This man here was just talking about selling games for like 3,000%. Like, you know, he would sell it. Get out of here.
I'm just giving you. I'm just giving you trash. I'm making fun because within the game collecting community, there are some people who like. It's funny how like. This is a whole rabbit hole of a discussion, but like
Oh,
people
geez,
get
okay.
labeled as resellers for, you know, buying games and then reselling them, you know, because there are people who like flip games for a living, and that
They do?
there are people who do that, and a lot of people attribute a lot of like the crazy market or the increase in price of video games
Mhm.
to those people. But
Jeez.
I don't know if that's necessarily like the actual case. Like there's probably some of them, but I feel like the majority of people who are quote reselling games are just people who are selling games that they don't really want or need anymore. So I don't know.
Mhm.
Anyways, there
Yeah.
it's
Well, at least for my case, that was the case.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy PS5 and then, you know, keep the PS4 version. So what am I going to do? Sell it while it's worth anything at all? Of course. Yeah.
So yeah, that That looks about like what I would expect from just a straight port to PS5. Hopefully it'll
Yeah.
have the improved frame rates and stuff, higher
I'll let you
resolution.
know. I'll let you
Yeah.
know in November. If I decide to play it, because
Yeah. I mean, hey, it was my very first East game. And I really loved my time with it.
really,
Yeah. Yep, because I'm a fake gamer. So that was my first experience playing an East game. So if anybody's wondering, like a good place to start, East 8, pretty great place to start.
well, there you go, everybody. If you guys want to see more Super Derek East action and East reviews, shame him on Twitter.
Well,
Proceed the
I
shaming.
I already reviewed East 8. You can find my full review from the Nintendo Switch on my channel here. So check it out
Yes.
after tonight's stream.
After the stream, you can wait. All right. So speaking of limited edition, which is what I bought, as of right now, you can still get the limited edition on the NIS store. It's actually pretty good. Yeah, so check that out. If you haven't gotten that already and you didn't know that there's the thing, go look at it right now and take a look.
All right.
All
So
right.
we have some releases coming out this week that we should get everybody up to speed on. We have it's just like just 2 or 3 or something like that. So
yeah, extremely busy week. Oh my god.
we have Sword Art Online, Alicization Lycoris, the Blooming of the Matricaria DLC.
Matricaria.
Yeah, that's the one. Will be released.
I think it's Matricaria.
Sure.
Yeah.
Will be released on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC via Steam on the 25th of this month. Additionally, Bandai Namco have announced that the game will be ported to the Nintendo Switch on the 29th of September this year. So the 2 paid DLCs will also be included, will also be released at a later date.
That's right. Yeah. So this base game is currently available for on PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and the Blooming Matricaria is the second paid DLC. That's what's being available this week. This is the latest edition. We did talk a little bit about it before, but now we have a definitive date, and the date when they give us the date, it's like, oh, by the way, it's next week. Like what? That's a little sudden. But then they also announced the Switch port. So for anyone who's playing on the Switch, it's like, oh no, I didn't get my SAO game. Well, congratulations, it's coming along with all the DLCs and such. Just in a later day.
All right.
All right. So fans of Mega Man series rejoice because Azure Striker Gunvolt 3, which really has been called like the successor to like the Mega Man franchise, this platformer will be released on different dates for different platforms. So it's coming out on July 28th for Nintendo Switch, which is next week. But if you're playing on Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, that's actually going to come a couple of days later in August 2nd. Now, finally, if you're a PC Master Race, well, you're going to have to wait until winter of this year to play this game. I'm not sure why they have this like staggered release date by platform, but it is what it is. Now, if you're a PS gamer, unfortunately, I could not find anything about Gunvolt 3 coming to the PlayStation console, but no, maybe later. I don't know. But
weird.
That's it for now. Yeah, I
and
know.
I was about to say PC Master wait, but I guess PS owners gotta wait a little longer. So
yeah.
Now we've got another game coming out later this week, Koumajou, Remilia, Scarlet Symphony. This is a Toho-themed Castlevania game that is, I think we talked about this once upon a time. It is coming to the Nintendo Switch and on Steam on the 28th. And as I recall, it looked pretty dang cool.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful like Castlevania game. If you look at it, you're just gonna be like, well, that's definitely Castlevania. But it's like, wait, but I've never seen these characters before.
Yeah,
well,
it even had like the after images, right?
Yeah, they did. It did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Super cool. Yeah. It was a doujin game, basically like a indies game, Japanese indie game. Yeah. And then it got really popular and it got picked up and now it's having like official ports. So super, I mean, I feel like it's kind of like proven itself in some sense, right? So definitely, if you are a Castlevania fan or a Toho fan or both, then this is the game for you. All right. Speaking of side-scroll platformers, we also got a game called Lost Epic. It is a 2D side-scrolling action RPG from 1 or 8. Will release in July 28th on PS4, 5, Switch, and exiting early access on Steam on the same day. So yes, you can play the game on Steam right now, but that is still the early access version. On the 28th is going to exit that early access. So and
That's
be
that-
available on the PlayStation and Switch platforms.
It's that
So
phrase again that I keep hearing: exiting, leaving early access.
No,
I'm just, it's just,
what is going on?
it's like they don't even know how this is supposed to work. Games
Yeah,
aren't
it's just-
supposed to leave early access, guys.
Oh, you know what's a game that left recently
What's
that,
that?
I never really talk about because it's not really like a JRPG?
Uh-huh.
Power Wash Simulator left.
Oh, yeah.
And okay, look, this is not JRPG I do recommend because it's just super relaxing. Just sitting there, just like washing a thing. It's relaxing. Just give it a time. Give it a try. It's like Zen time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
All right.
Well, we've also got Vestaria Saga 2, The Sacred Sword of Silvanister. No,
What a title.
Silvanister. Yeah. This is
Sylvanus, yeah.
a second game in the Vestaria series. This title is coming to PC via Steam on the 28th of this month.
Yes. That's the, if you recall, that is the game from Kaga, the guy who like started the Fire Emblem series.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember that one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, so that one's coming. So pretty cool. So hey, fans of the old school Fire Emblem game, y'all check that out. The first game's already out. Now the second game is coming.
All right.
All right. Now we're moving to like the meaty games, like the ones. Ooh, okay. The much anticipated. Okay, Digimon Survive. Fans waited long enough for this one. The new grid-based tactical RPG is coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on July 29th. And we've got a gameplay trailer for all of you. So if we don't mind taking a look at it,
What if I did mind?
then we'll just skip it.
Oh, okay. Well, luckily, I don't actually mind.
Surrounded with mysteries and monsters.
So, does this trailer have gameplay in it?
Divided into
I hope it
areas
does.
Possibly.
Okay, here's
I
a
mean,
little.
it's called the gameplay trailer, but you know,
I mean, you would hope so.
They could always lie to us.
Okay, there's a little bit of gameplay here, I see.
Yeah. So this is sort of like the exploration phase, if you will. You have to talk to people, answer questions, explore the surroundings, and then there's like the battle phase. So this is like the battle phase. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the gameplay I was looking for. Show me that combat. What? What is that little teddy bear doing?
Censorship.
Oh,
I don't know.
just little teddy bear cod piece there, I guess.
Well,
Mhm.
so it looks like battles are like individual animation instead of like attacking in the field, like a Tactics Ogre game.
Oh, I see. So
Sorry, not that. It's not like Final Fantasy Tactic where like you just do the attack on the field. Like I think they like
Yeah.
zoom in.
Yeah,
To, like the
this
two
reminds
and
me.
focus.
This reminds me of like the Shining Force games.
Yes.
Looks super cool.
That actually looks pretty good.
Man,
As
after
launch bonus.
having like not heard that of that game, like had it not, it just disappeared for a while. It's good to see it didn't die, and in fact, Digimon survived. What I guess it just felt like COVID was going to kill it, basically.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Well, that about does it for all the major releases. We have this smaller indie though that we should probably talk about, I guess. Called
yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Yeah, it's
Yeah. Wasn't sure if people knew about that one.
yeah, it's pretty underground.
It's a little
So,
nothing, yeah.
Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is coming exclusively to the Nintendo Switch, for those of you who did not know. It is coming out on the 29th of this month, so just a few days away, and apparently leaks of this game are already out. So watch out for spoilers, because of course. And then On the other hand, if you actually want more information about the game, uh, Nintendo released an 8-minute long trailer. We're not going to watch it here, but there is a link in the description for your viewing pleasure.
Oh yeah, that trailer is just
Just dripping with
tons of
spoilers.
spoilers, just all over the place. So we're not gonna play it. We're not
Yeah.
gonna play it. Don't click away from our video. Don't click away from the broadcast, please. Have a seat, please. Stop it.
Don't touch that
No,
dial.
yeah, no,
Okay.
because I know that a lot of folks are
I-
pretty sensitive about the. I
Mhm.
am too, but I watched it for all of you. I watched it to see if there's anything worthwhile, and there wasn't anything worthwhile for me to talk about. But now I've just been thoroughly spoiled. So
Gotcha.
yay!
Well,
It
thank you,
was for
Baku.
nothing. It was for nothing.
I appreciate you sacrificing yourself so that we don't have to. And the worst part about that is that the people who really wanted to, or were curious and wanting and willing and able to watch the trailer, they've already watched it 1,000 times. They've already dissected it 1,000 times. So, but yeah, if anybody else wants to check out the trailer and they didn't know it was out, it is, and it's a doozy. Not that I've seen it.
No, it's great. It's got a lot of information for anyone who is interested in it. It's a great trailer. It's just something that I wish I haven't seen personally, only because I wanted to be a little bit more in the blind. But hey, if you don't care, you want more information, you want to know if this is the right game for you, because you're still on the fence about this whole series. Go look at that trailer. I think it's going to change your mind about a lot of things, right? But
Yeah.
if you already got the game, you're a fan, you don't want to be spoiled, then obviously stay the heck away.
I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like if you don't know about like Xenoblade, jumping in with Xenoblade 3, probably not like the best choice, right?
Yeah. Well,
Maybe.
my feeling for Xenoblade so far, and I've only played 1 and 2. I've never played X. I've played 1 and 2.
Uh-huh.
For what it matters for 3, I think 1 and 2 matters. X is not necessarily part of the continuation in terms of the world.
I gotcha.
So just in terms of 1 and 2, I played 2 first, and I enjoyed it without knowing anything about 1. So I'm kind of hoping that 3 will kind of continue that legacy where you can just jump on and play it and you don't know anything about the previous game, you're still going to be able to enjoy it. So
Okay.
it will still be a good jump in point. I mean, heck, if you don't want to play the first game, you just want to play the second one, I had a great time.
Cool.
So yeah, any order at all.
Well, I appreciate you doing that, Baku. Very great.
Yeah, well, so here's a question for all of you, but more importantly for Derek. Are there any games right now that we've talked about so far that you're actually interested in playing sometime soon?
I mean, all of them, right? But none of them right now.
Realistically.
Realistically,
Realistic answer.
when you said soon, define soon. Like what kind of timeline? Like within the
this
next
calendar
decade?
year.
Oh,
Within this calendar
this
year.
calendar year? Oh no. That's
Are you all
a
booked out?
I actually do have like a little games roadmap that I have linked in my Discord that I have for all the supporters of the show who can kind of see what I have on the immediate horizon. One of those will actually be a game that will be up for vote when that time comes. So there's a possibility that some people could vote me into playing Xenoblade 3, come like December or something. But none of these are immediately on my like I'm going to play this right now list.
Well, if you guys want to see Derek with some Xenoblade 3 action, you know what to do. Go vote on the game and also shame him on Twitter.
It's not open yet, so don't bother going there yet, unless you just want to hang out with a bunch of super cool people in the Discord. I mean, it's an RPG Discord.
I think that's go for the vote, but stay for the awesome people.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So,
all right,
Baku, how about you?
Well, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 for sure. Sometime this year. Though I'm kind of debating if I want to wait until the first major DLC to come out. So for anyone who does not know about this game, there are 4 DLCs, 4 waves of DLC. Wave 1 is just cosmetic things that's going to come out on the day of the release. Then sometime between then and the end of the year, there will be there'll be a second wave DLC that actually has some like extra characters that makes the story a little different. So
Mhm.
the gameplay is gonna be a little different. And then wave three is sometime next year before April, and then the last wave is what we're expecting to be like an expanded story, kind of like Future Connect or Torna did for the first and second game. We don't know yet, but that's what we're sort of expecting, and that's towards the end of next year.
Okay.
So for all I know, I could be playing that in 2024.
Jeez.
Uh, so I'm expecting to do 2 playthroughs. I typically don't do 2 playthroughs. I do 1 playthrough, but
Mhm.
right now it looks like I'm gonna have to do 2 playthroughs. Once with the second wave DLC, and the second time with everything.
Wow.
So we'll
Okay.
see. Yeah. I'm also looking forward to playing Digimon Survive, probably not this year, and East 8 also probably not this year, but probably early next year. So close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All
hey,
right.
well, we should probably take a little shift here in tone because we're about out of games that are coming out this week. How many was that? Like 10, 15?
Jeez.
It feels like 1,000.
Oh
But
my god.
we have some industry news to take a look at. And Baku,
Yeah.
what is this? Because I'm not much of a Monster Hunter guy, but this news has certainly caught my eye. And I'm like, I feel like
What is this?
yeah, this is
Hold on. Let's see if you can take a look at my screen really quick. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about this. So this is as part of a special exhibition in the city of Sakai in Japan. The exhibition is called Monster Hunter X Sakai. And now what y'all may or may not know about the city of Sakai is that it is famous for producing katanas in the country of Japan. So
Yeah.
obviously, it's probably like the highest honor, if you will, right?
Yeah.
There are 3 Japanese craftsmen who have sort of combined their effort to create a full-sized replica of a long sword that is used in Monster Hunter called Kakaru Kumo Naki.
Could you zoom in a little
So
bit, please? Like, zoom your screen in. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Perfect.
there you go.
That
Look at that.
is
Gorgeous, right?
absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about it. So we've got master swordsmith Jun Mitsuno, who made the blade using ultra low carbon steel. Akiko Maeda, who is a woodsmith who crafted the wooden handle and the scabbard. And then finally, Masakazu Yamaguchi, who is a master painter who had painted this entire piece with photochromic paint so that the sword can simulate how the blade would change color as it does in game, depending on the light source.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah. Now, the entire sword is 3.1 meters long, and that's 10 feet for all of you who are, in the Imperial unit, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Us Americans, it's 10 feet long, okay, and weighs 150 kilo, which translates to 330 pounds. That sword is 330 pounds.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah, it took 3 years to produce from planning to production and at a cost at about 65,000 US dollars. Just the material, I think. Not including their labor hours.
whoa.
It's 10 freedom units long, that's correct.
Whoa.
$65,000. Now I can definitely imagine there's some like ultra rich like Monster Hunter fan, like oil baron who just loves Monster Hunter for some reason,
Uh-huh.
who would totally want to get their hands on this. And you know what? I feel like this wouldn't be a bad like art piece to like collect. You know how we talked about like the $10,000, $12,000
Terra.
Terra statue, and
Yeah.
just like, yeah, that's terrible because that's still kind of mass produced. This is definitely a one of a kind piece right here. So hey, anyone who's watching right now, first of all, if you're like an oil baron, maybe throw some super chat. We would love to talk to you. But also, if you're an oil baron who loves Monster Hunter, this is an art piece that you can put in one of your many mentions. I don't know. I mean, let's say they charge double, triple even. So that's like 180,000 chump change for you. Chump change. By the way, if you guys were here for last week episode, just remember that $250,000 can get you a studio in Japan.
That is true. That is very true.
As Nintendo had demonstrated.
You know, sometimes I think of like, man, money doesn't go very far these days, but then I see, you know, studios being bought up for $250,000. I'm like, oh, I guess the dollar still has some purchasing power.
Crazy. Yeah. Oh, here's another view of the sword, by the way. Link down the description for sources. The gamers, thank you so much for the gamer for hooking us up. There's like a suit of armor in the back, but the story is not about the armor. But you know, you can always look at it. But you look at the way that it shines.
Dude,
it's just gorgeous.
This is the sort of weapon that that makes me wish that like power armor existed. Because otherwise, how are you going to use this? I mean, obviously you shouldn't because it's painted and you would ruin the paint finish, right? But part of me wants to do the redneck thing, take it out back and see what I could chop down, you know, take out a couple trees with a single swing.
330 pounds, man. Whew. Oh, geez. Well, got to work on those guns first. You know, you got to be able to swing 330 pounds proficiently.
Well, that's what the power armor is for, right?
True.
You know, if I ever become like a trillionaire, you know, just in the off chance, you know, then you know, I'll just, you know, I would totally get that, and I would totally like have someone commission. I would commission some power armor that would allow me to use it, and then I'd become Iron Man, but with like a sword. Yeah, that would be
a sword.
That's my retirement plan. Actually, I didn't mean to spoil that for everybody, but
I see someone in chat says, "Son, you're not going to college. Daddy's now the real Monster Hunter." Very nice, man. Very nice. All right.
Where we're going, we don't need college tuition.
No. College.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. All right. Well, speaking of gold and
oh wow,
that's a bit of a stretch. Golden Sun artwork has been added to Camelot's website, and I shamelessly put it into this show's thumbnail, so make sure you check it out. That's why I'm like, what is this? Camelot, what is this? What is this picture that you are showing us off here? Because I mean, first of all, I think it goes without saying, right? Hype responsibly, everybody. You know, this is, you know, this could be something or it could be nothing. Err on the side of probably nothing, but this is like some brand new artwork, ultra high resolution that Golden Sun of Golden Sun that Camelot has put onto their website. Featuring new artwork of Isaac and a Jin, which is fueling some fan speculation that the company might be making something new with this intellectual property. So far, we have no idea. No announcements have been made, but as soon as they do, we'll be sure to let you know. But you know what? Let me pull up the website because I want to show off what the website actually looks like here.
Let's go.
All right. Just a moment. Got to pull up the site here. Camelot.co.jp if anybody else wants to see it. But it is currently loading. Okay. All right.
Links in the description later.
All right. And
she links in the description right now.
All right. So this is what the website looks like right now. Camelot company profile. Okay, cool. So you scroll down a little bit. They say, oh, look at this. And then, hey, there's this guy and he's moving around a little bit. That's kind of neat. And then you scroll a little bit further down and then, oh, wait. That is a second Jin. Because before it was a different Jin. When I went here earlier today, that was a wind Jin.
Yeah, so I that's why I had to change my script to a Jin because I looked at it first and it was a Mars Jin, which is what you're looking at. I came back and it was a different Jin, like the Earth Jin, whichever that was. So yeah, so and someone reported it saying that it was a Jupiter Jin, which would have the Wind one, which I haven't seen. So I think there are a couple of Jins on rotation.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what triggers the different Jins. But Isaac is static. Isaac just kind of stays there. So
Yeah. So this is the full resolution of Isaac, by the way. When I said ultra high resolution, like, and you see this, you're like, oh, that's not a really super high resolution picture. No, this is like a big old, like, it's like a 1080p picture of Isaac on its side, basically, of Isaac. This is not old art. This is new art.
This is definitely new art.
And that looks really good. So, I mean, it could be nothing.
But it could be
Or-
everything.
Exactly, Baku. I couldn't have said it better myself. It could be everything. So hype responsibly. But yeah, I think that's why I'm like, you know, Camelot, you got some splaining to do. This would be very irresponsible of you to throw this onto your website. I mean, without any additional context. By the way, Baku, I don't speak Japanese. I don't understand these moon runes. I'm guessing that these are just little statements of like, oh yes, we make video games or something. Here's
Basically.
like
There's absolutely nothing that says new Golden Sun coming soon. It's just very generic, like, oh, look at our game history and whatever. That's just the corporate site, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing. I mean, I would have definitely made a note if I saw anything of interest. But yeah, but the fact that they're making such a move, I think I think it's a good timing too because we're looking at like sort of the revival of like the PS1 Super Nintendo era, and this sits kind of like where that sits, right? And these games are selling well, so I don't see why they wouldn't do it. The writing's on the wall as far as like it's now or never.
I mean,
it's either you revive it now or this is not ever going to come out.
And the other reason that I feel like they have to answer for this, instead of just being like, because this isn't just like some random IP that they chose, right? This is because they have lots of games that they work on. And this isn't necessarily even like the most like popular one that they've ever made, because Camelot has also worked on, well, gosh, if we're going all the way back, Camelot, they were the people behind, well, some of the people behind the original Shining Force. They were some of the original people behind a lot of like the Mario golf games, a lot of, oh my God, a lot of Mario and sports related games that sell pretty well. Like Golf Story, I think is also like an RPG golf game that they do. Right. And anyways, they have a huge like backlog of everything they could have done that they could have chosen for some stock imagery there if they had wanted to, something a little more a little more recent from their history if they wanted to. But they went with Isaac, and not just Isaac, but like, is it all of the gens? Like, is it Mars? Is it the wind? Like, I wonder how many I can see if I just like refresh the page a time or two. Like,
see, that's the thing. Refreshing the page did not change it for me, but it does change over time. So I don't think it's just a refresh. There's got to be
like on a timer.
It might be on a timer. Yeah. So yeah, I couldn't just refresh it to get it to change.
I mean, that seems. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So here's my pro tip. It works again because I did a Control F5.
Oh.
And now I have this guy. And if I do a Control F5 again, I wonder if it's because I think
all of them.
Yeah, because if you hit Control F5,
there you go.
It does your cache again.
Isn't that Jupiter? That's Jupiter.
And then here's the Earth now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just Control F5, you can get them all. So that's just super interesting. Like they didn't have to commission all 4 gens. They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to commission a high res copy of Isaac, but they did. Is this because they just happened to have it laying around?
Suspicious.
Yeah, it's pretty sus. So anyways, that's the whole reason for the title and the thumbnail. Like, Camelot, explain yourself.
Yes, please, Camelot.
That's my soapbox, and that's why I'm irrationally, irresponsibly somewhat hyped at the moment. I need to reel it in a little bit. But yeah,
Watch next week. They're gonna be like, oh, by the way, here is the new Golden Sun, and it's coming December 2022.
dude, oh God, don't you dare. Don't you bring that evil upon us this year.
we thought you needed more games to play this year. What do you mean?
All right, go ahead. Take your next story here, Baku.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about merch. So for anyone who's sort of in the know, it is like figure season. Okay. So this is what I mean. Kotobukiya Collection Online 2022, Mega Hobby Expo 2022, Wonder Festival 2022, summer, and I mean Hobby Camp just happened over the week. That's like 4 major figures announcements, and there were lots of figures in this on display. Some are from anime, some are from games, some are robot figure kits, hobby kits. Some are like like kaiju's. You name it, they had it. On display. So we're not gonna go over much of any of them really, but the links are down below in the description. So you want to take some of those, at your leisure, please do so. There are literally hundreds of pictures that I had to scan through. There are some that we will talk about as a result of these events, and they all have to do with Trails figures. So take it away, Derek.
You bet. So they just announced through their collection that they'll be releasing more Trails figures, as indicated by Baku here, including Risha and Crow, who are now in the prototyping phase, while Ren is
you can
in
actually
the
see
design
the
phase.
too, yeah.
And I'll show some of these pictures. Yeah. Okay. So
This shit looks really, really good. Like super excited for her.
yeah, I went ahead and like picked up a couple just to like zoom in on these, because I thought that figure looks incredible. Here's another shot of that from like a closer up perspective here. Looks like they got the eyes colored in, which is kind of a neat touch here. And then we also have Crow, who also just looks awesome. I don't know who Crow is because I haven't encountered them in my playthroughs of the Trails games yet. But here's some of the additional figures here. I should probably zoom in so we can see all of them a little bit better. But yeah, Risha looks incredible.
Yes. She looks amazing. And I'm definitely gonna pick her up because I already know I'm gonna love her. I haven't played Crossbow yet, but I don't care.
There's just something about her that draws your attention, huh?
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
And this guy, he's got belt buckles for days, so you got to get him too. So and then like I think I started to say this before, but in case anybody didn't hear it, we also have a note here that Ren is also potentially, or I think she's going to be getting a figure as well, but they're not quite to the prototyping phase for her. So
I think they pick like the concept. So like usually it's going to be based on this image right here.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the image. That's the age. That's the design. Like that's the pose that they're going to go with. So we have some idea, unless that changes. But for the most part, we're not going to get like the sky Ren. We're going to get the I think this is
Zero Azure. I think
Zero Azure, yeah. This is Crossbell Ren. So we're gonna be getting Crossbell Ren, basically.
Yeah.
So and in the future we might get, older Ren, right? So but for sure from Kotobukiya we're getting that. Just as a side note for everyone who does not know, Kotobukiya already released the Altina and also Reen figures. So they're just making more and more figures from the Trails line. So if you are a fan of Trails and you're a figure collector, be sure to support Kotobukiya. Let them know that we want more. And also, where is Estelle?
That's a very good question.
This is the question that no one's answering.
Where is Estelle?
Where's Estelle? Yes.
And maybe Annalise.
Yes.
Annalise. Who else? How about just everybody, honestly?
Charizard.
Yeah, Charizard. That's her name. Yeah, Charizard.
Yeah.
Oh, but most importantly, what's the I'll think of the name here in a moment. Go ahead and you can continue on with your next story. Meanwhile, I'll think of the name of who we
Sure.
really need the figure
Well,
of.
so we've also got something else that's trails related, but this time it is not Kotobukiya. Do you mind sharing my screen?
Anton is the one who I'm thinking of. Okay, so
you know what they need to do is just model Antoine into
No.
Stray.
No, not Antoine. Anton. You don't know Anton yet, but you will.
Oh, geez. Okay. So we are getting new figures as well, but this time not with Kotobukiya. This time is a company called QuesQ. They are bringing us the Trails of Cold Steel version of Altina and Alisa. So here is the prototype for Altina.
Oh, that's cute.
And yeah, well, let's go back real quick. And yeah, they usually color the eyes first before doing all the other colors, just to kind of bring life to the figure first.
Yeah.
Because if you paint everything else without the eyes, well, that'd just be weird looking. Yeah. So you'll notice that they always paint the eyes first before doing everything else. So yeah, this is the Alisa from Charles Cold Steel version. So yeah, this is an official tweet from QuesQ, as you can see here. So yeah, that's definitely coming. So we will be sure to let you all know when the pre-order period is available. For now, just sit tight and wait for more Trails figures.
Yeah, but we got a lot of other figures to get through.
Oh yeah, we do. Next up, we've got a let's see. Let's just stick on my window for a second.
Okay.
Next up, we've got a. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna let you guys know this right now. There are some that you probably will get, some that you probably won't get, and some that you'll probably be infuriated by.
Oh my god!
All of these are just.
I just saw the price on that. Oh my god!
Now this is a quarter. This is a quarter scale, so this is substantially larger, and it's also a resin statue. So resin tends to be more expensive. This is not PVC, so there you go. But also just like, whoo, it's like $1,200 when it's all said and done. But if that's what you're into, and you're that like oil baron guy again, just like look, listen, if you're oil baron, just like shoot us a super chat, please. But if this is something that you're interested in, you just really like that second player color variation, and you. $1,200 US, just burning a hole, just looking for something to spend it on. Well, this might be an option for you. So this is now available for pre-order at the Square Enix store. I haven't checked the other regions, but I imagine that you can get them anyway. So yeah, take a look at that. But we also have more, figures from Square Enix. Mr. Derek, why don't you show the good folks the thing that I think people might actually get?
Okay, here, let me do this here. It's gonna take me a second to pull that up. I think I'm pulling up the one that you're thinking of. Okay, so
well, there are two.
There's two. Okay,
there are two. Yeah.
All right, so there's that one. Here, let me.
Oh no,
they linked the same. They look like the same link to me.
They are not. The number's different.
Okay, well,
why don't I talk about this one, and then you can pick back up. Okay. So let's hop back on over to my screen. All right. So Square Enix released Final Fantasy VII, Tifa, and Aerith in their iconic dresses in the remake. But what about Cloud? Well, you're in luck because Square Enix is releasing a Cloud figure in his dress version.
Oh my god.
And what's more, it is available in static arts and play arts. So what is static arts and play arts? Static arts is basically your typical figure where there are no moving parts. This is the pose, and this is what you get. And personally, I prefer static arts because I can't deal with parts, and I can't deal with like posing things. So you know what? This is a perfect pose anyways.
That is
so
pretty spot on.
Right? So for $200, you can bring yourself home a Cloud in his dress. And I do applaud Square Enix for making this available along with Tifa and Aerith in their dress versions. Now, just to really literally double down on this, they are also releasing the what is it called? The Play Arts version.
Mm.
Now, Play Arts is the series where there are moving joints, as you can see, right?
Oh,
So
I
you can
see.
actually do different poses if you so choose to, but there are also additional parts which like just I can't deal with. So yeah, you can change his face. I think apparently there are face parts that you can change. So yeah, so if you're into this whole dress look, you want to complete your collection with the three beauties, if you will, from 587. You can definitely get all three of them from the Square Enix store, either in the static arts version or the play arts version. So and they're actually about the same price. Actually, funny enough, the static arts one is a little pricier. You would think that the action figure would be a little cheaper, but
Yeah,
I mean, it'd be a little more expensive. Yeah.
you'd have thought
Mm.
so.
Yeah.
So I'll show. I think these are the two that you were talking about here, Baku. That you wanted me to show off here. Is this correct? There's this cloud here. That's
Are you looking at the bottom cloud, like the one afterwards?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
This is the funny one. So why don't you take that? Why don't you take a stab at that one?
Okay. So I don't know really what I'm talking about here.
Okay, so Square Enix is finally making good on their promise on NFT. So this is the headline, guys.
Oh,
This is the
this was the top headline
This
one.
is the headline. Yes, this is it right here. So, they are releasing a OG version, OG design of Cloud, in the form of a action figure with NFT attached. Now, this new figure will cost you 130 US dollar, and it comes with, in quote, one exchange ticket to redeem a digital certificate of authenticity. Authenticity.
Oh.
Wow, that was like three takes. Okay, which is the NFT.
Yeah.
Now, there's also a digital plus version for only $30 more. It will give you a digital version of the figure that you can enjoy on your PC and smartphone. End quote. Only $30 more dollars.
Wow. Okay,
Oh,
so that's actually a
jeez.
pretty good sized figure here on the nightstand. Wait, is that the actual nightstand, or is that like? I mean, like, is this the picture here of it on a nightstand? Is that a real nightstand, or is that like
I have no idea.
or is that a digital representation?
But
Something about
that's
that.
digital version. That's digital version.
That's the digital version. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Okay. I know I'm like just crapping on Square Enix for this. First of all, this figure looks pretty crappy. Not going to lie.
Yeah.
That's just as a
I
product
mean,
in
for
general.
130
pretty-
bucks.
Yeah, it's pretty crappy for $130. I mean, we saw for like the remake version with the dress, but there's also the remake version without the dress if you want a more direct comparison for that style of Cloud. And that one goes for like $50 more, but it's just way more detail. It looks way better. It's just
Mhm.
like, why did you even bother releasing this other than to like usher in like the NFT? So I felt a little force fed. As a figure collector, I looked at this. I have like zero, and not because I'm not a fan of Cloud, but just doesn't look that good to begin with. Now, speaking of the NFT part, remember what we were saying in the beginning of the show that we feel like, hey, this is actually maybe not the worst use as NFT,
Yeah.
because one of the better use of NFT, honestly, as a technology, not tying into the coin mining, but just the technology of NFT, is certificate.
Yeah.
So as long as you can just issue certificates without a currency tied to it, because the currency is the bad part. The currency is the part where you have to mine and you have to do all these things. If it's just an NFT as a proof of purchase or a proof of authenticity,
Mhm.
that's actually not a bad idea that you can provide extra value to anyone buying any kind of collectibles,
Yeah.
like be it cards or figures, any kind of collectibles. Like that's not a bad idea, okay? Because there's a unique signature now, right? That's attached to
Mhm.
it, which fights a lot of counterfeit because counterfeit from China is a huge problem in collectibles. So
Yeah.
I see that as a potential way to combat these counterfeits from China.
Yeah, because if you can just
Yeah.
counterfeit a figure, what's to stop you from counterfeiting a certificate of authenticity? I mean, well, this is one way to combat that is to put it on, the blockchain to
Mhm.
actually make it a non-fungible by definition.
Yeah.
Like it cannot be funged, like as
Yeah.
opposed to like a physical certificate that you could swap it
You
out.
could still forge that, yeah.
Yeah.
And I know I'm seeing someone say, "Well, without currency in JPEG," not necessarily, because
Mhm.
you can still transfer that certificate on the blockchain, right? So you can still transfer that. So let's say I'm selling this figure on an open market, I can transfer that over to somebody else, and we can, use that to sort of determine whether or not this figure is indeed authentic based on its record,
Mhm.
right? And that is something that you have a way harder time in trying to fake.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not. I don't think it's like impossible, but at the same time, it's very difficult to do. So,
Yeah. I mean, and also because
that's
it's
yeah.
open technology, one of the other benefits is that it
Mhm.
it basically guarantees that Square Enix does not make any more than they claim to have, right?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, so that's another benefit that it has to collectors. Like if it says 11 of 50, for instance, and
Mhm.
not in this case, but if that was like that limited of a run, if they did it with like the Terra statue, for instance,
Yeah,
then you would have that authenticity, that guarantee that they only made 50 because you can see it
correct.
on the chain that there are only 50 NFTs
50.
and you can see who all of the owners are, more or
Exactly.
less. So yeah,
So yeah,
there
so
is some benefit there
actually,
too.
yeah, so I know we're crapping on it because it's just so stupid as a product, but the technology behind future figure sales or collectible sales, again, as long as it doesn't have a currency tied to it and there's no mining,
Yeah.
just the NFT, just a certificate, it's actually not a bad use.
And as
It's
long as it's
actually not
also
a bad
not
use. In
tied
all
into
fairness.
gameplay. Like if I,
Yeah,
as long as
please,
you don't have
please do
to,
not tie into gameplay. Just good God, please don't. Yeah,
yeah,
this is the other thing that I'm really watching Square Enix for is, are you gonna tie NFT to gameplay? Because the second that happens, my opinion is gonna flip. But for collectibles, actually okay.
yeah,
Not a bad idea. Yeah.
yeah. Not a terrible implementation. I just hope it's not the start of like, you know,
Some kind of weird revolution. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
yeah. So we're,
Because
we're still
because when
bracing
the
for
head of Square
changes.
Enix is talking about how NFTs are the future of gaming, this is not what he's talking about.
Yeah.
This is not
Just
the end goal that he's been talking about for sure. So let's just, I mean, it's them testing some waters though, at least. So
yeah. So
we'll
just know
see.
that we're not singing praises of MNT. We're just being very
Trying to be
we're,
fair,
we're,
I
we're
think.
trying to be fair. We're trying to be fair, but we're definitely not singing praises to it. Like NFT is great. It is not.
No,
It is not,
it is no.
especially the direction that the president seems to want to take the technology. It is absolutely not something that we would like to see.
Yeah.
But for this very
Specific
specific instance
implementation.
and uses, it's fine.
Yeah. Hey, so also we have an additional little bit of merch here. It's not a figure and it is also not an NFT. This is a Chocobo and the Airship. Chocobo and the Airship. It's a Final
Sorry.
Fantasy picture book. Square Enix is publishing a new picture book adventure title called Chocobo and the Airship, written by Kazuhiko Aoki, director of the Chocobo's Dungeon 2, and illustrated by Toshiyuki Itahana. I hope I said that correct. Character
Good
designer
enough.
for Chocobo's Dungeon, and is a picture book for all ages, and will be available on March 21st of next year, which is kind of interesting. You want to take a look at the picture book?
Yeah, let's do it. I think the cover is still in Japanese right now, but once it is available for that international release in March, you will get like an English, obviously English cover, all the contents within English, so
Mhm.
no worries there. Yeah, you're seeing the Japanese cover for now, but they said that this is just their current cover.
Yeah,
So
it's going to be
yeah, the
hardcover,
English
and
version,
as you can see, it's going to be about $18.
yeah, which
So
is not bad. I mean, for a
not
picture book,
yeah, not bad at all.
yeah,
I don't know how many pages it'll be, but that's kind of neat.
yeah.
It's how we were talking about how we will appeal to younger generations of RPG players. Some
Mm,
4D chess going on here.
start them young, man. Start them young. I was like, picture books? What? Switch games? Hmm.
I mean, hey, I, I guess Square Enix at least has the right idea, more or less, that we
Yeah.
should, yeah. So,
How to appeal to the younger generation. Yeah, you know what? I think that within our viewership, there are a lot of you with kids and maybe young kids. So, hey, that could be something that you might be interested in picking it for yourself or your little ones, or, or some kind of, like a book reading time, right? So, maybe wait for the review, right, to see what kind of story it comes in. But I think Chocobo like Dungeon, the Chocobo like sub series has been always been very wholesome. So I just don't have any second guesses on that one. So but definitely check that out. It's gonna come out in March next year.
all right. Well, I think that about does it for all the merch stuff. So, before we wind down, let's take a look at some of the super chats that we've received throughout today's stream. Starting with
Yes.
this one from Mushy, who says, or asks Baku rather, are you
Mhm.
going to be streaming Xenoblade 3, Baku?
Yes, and I also inadvertently answered you during the middle of the stream, but I'll just say it again. Not sure if I'm gonna wait until the DLC to come out first before I play it, but I'm like 80% sure that I'm gonna wait until at least the wave 2 of DLC to play it. That way I have a very different playthrough than other people, because then I'll be playing with some DLC for the first time. So it'll be
Mhm.
interesting. Yeah.
All right,
But the answer is yes.
we got another one here from Still Alive, who says, I've been reading up
Hey.
on the turbo graphics a lot lately, and it's got me wondering, what's your favorite RPG for the system? So, for instance, the East games.
Mm. There is this one game from TurboGrafx. Well, I we call it PC Engine.
Mhm.
And I can't for the life of me remember what the title is.
It's not like,
But
wouldn't be like one of the
uh,
Far East of Eden titles, would it?
oh yes, that one. I was about to
Hey,
say like it
she's almost
has
shot in the
like
dark.
yeah, because it has. I was just gonna say, like, it has the whole like manji thing in there, and like people are like, "Oh, that's the swastika." It's like, no, that's the manji, which is completely different.
Mhm.
But I can see why you would make people would see that and say that's a swastika. It is not. So the manji has been used in Buddhist, sort of as a symbol for just like thousands of years, like
Yeah.
literally thousands of years. It traveled from India to China to Japan through Korea. And that is why you will see giant Buddha statues in Japan and Korea and Taiwan and China. These like basically a giant swastika. For anyone who does not know what that is, they're like, "Oh, what is this?" It's not a swastika. It's called a manji. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Now it's a heavy symbolism in that particular game series. So next time you see that game, don't go, "It's a swastika." It is not.
Yeah.
But that game is super awesome. I loved it growing up playing that game.
All right. Well, I actually haven't really played any TurboGrafx, and I've had TurboGrafx on my want list forever, but I've never managed to get any. So I actually do own one copy of a game, which is I think it's called East Books 1 and 2 on TurboGrafx 16 CD,
Mm.
Turbo CD. I picked it up because I'm like, I'm gonna play this someday. Surely I'll have a way to play Turbo CD at some point.
Give me 1 second. Keep talking.
Sure, but unfortunately, I do not own any other Turbo games. And I unfortunately my knowledge of the system is fairly limited, especially because I feel like a lot of the RPGs for the system just never came out in the West. So what we ended up getting were a lot of more kind of action platformers that were kind of popular in the West at the time. So there's
There you go.
yeah, yep,
You
that's
see this?
actually it's
Yeah,
not
this is
focused on. There you go. There you go. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
This is the PC Engine East 1 and 2. So this is from like what 1987.
yep.
This is in 1987. So there you go, man. This is a piece of history right here.
That's awesome, dude.
Since you guys were asking about it, here you go.
So yeah, I don't really know too many other RPGs on the system that I could even say that I'm super interested in. I know that would be
Oh.
my starting point. That would probably be Ys.
The one there's another one that we talked about the other day. I forgot the name already, but it's basically it's kind of like a space faring. It's like Space Boy or something.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that one was also on the PC Engine. So or some artwork in their insert booklet. Is it focused? Do you see it?
yeah. I see that. That's some
see.
awesome artwork.
That's some 90s. Oh, no, 80s.
Yeah.
It's got the 80s look to it. Great. Yeah.
So
There you go.
we have another question here from Francisco who says, "What would
Hello.
be the first RPG that you would show to your child?"
Oh,
Tough
boy,
question,
that's
right?
a tough question. First RPG I would show probably Pokemon. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's cute. It's easy to get into. I don't want to scare them away.
Thematically
Yeah.
simple. Yeah. I feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that is something that a lot of Pokemon fans kind of actually forget, is that it is an RPG for the most part. Like it's some people just don't realize that, like, yeah, I realized like it had turn-based combat and these other things that it never occurred to me that it was an RPG. But yeah, it is right now not only the most popular RPG series of all time, but it is also just like the most popular game franchise of all time.
Mhm.
So there's a very strong likelihood that if they like video games, they'll probably like Pokemon, which will be it'll happen to be an RPG. So
Yeah.
so that's a pretty solid way to go. Now I did also recently try out a game that I thought would be a pretty good like a kids first RPG, as long as they like know how to read. But maybe like in the earlier stages of their reading, there was a game called TikTok Travelers that I thought looked
TikTok Traveler.
yes, yeah.
What?
It's Destiny Connect TikTok Travelers is what it's called, and
Oh, yes, that one.
yeah, I forgot the
Yeah.
first part of it, but yeah, it's called Destiny Connect TikTok Travelers, and it's about it takes place in the year 1999 at the turn of the millennium, and time freezes, and little girl works with her dad's robot to help restore time and stuff. It's interesting, not super complicated or hard or anything, but yeah, check out the video that I have out there. It's pretty okay.
Awesome. Yeah, I think another one, now that I think about it, like Trials of Mana, hands down. It's a simple story, very colorful, super easy to get into. Not a whole lot of reading.
Mhm.
Beautiful art. And just another good one to go with. And the game that we talked about, which was the great was the great hero and the Demon King one. That
Oh,
that
yeah,
one's
yeah.
actually pretty good too. Yeah, the good game to play with your kids.
Yeah.
So plenty of options. Plenty of options.
There's also not to be overlooked are the RPG adjacent games that because like I wouldn't recommend most RPGs to anybody who can't read yet, but by early age, a lot of people should be playing games like before they can. I mean, not should be, but a lot of people will be playing games. So it's probably a good idea to get some games that don't rely on text as much. So maybe something like
Yeah.
some of the earlier Zelda games, for instance, that have
Oh,
some of the
yeah,
puzzle
absolutely.
some of the puzzle elements, some of the basic combat kind of elements, like, you know, push a button to swing a sword, that translates really well into action RPGs at a later point. And that was honestly, that's kind of what sent me down my eventual RPG rabbit hole, was Link to the Past. So
Oh yeah, that game is classic. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely give the kids like something a little easy to digest, like
Nintendo is
gameplay
just
wise,
so
and
good about that, aren't they?
yeah, yeah, and the story wise, just something easier for
Uh-huh.
them to understand.
You know,
I've worked their way up, but
I've actually also got a whole video talking specifically about like gateway RPGs, like
oh,
getting people into playing RPGs, and how it really is going to vary, like depending on who it is that you're trying to get into RPGs and what their interests are. So I think that would be the other angle, is just whatever interests my kid had. Like if they're really into firefighters or something, there are actually firefighter action RPGs on the Super Nintendo, believe it or not. So
they are. What?
yeah. Well, there's one, I think.
Hmm.
There's two similar games, but one of them is more of an action RPG than the other. But I can't remember the names of them at the moment. But I think it's unfortunately a UK exclusive. So
Oh, okay, that's interesting. UK exclusive.
but yeah,
That's not something I hear a lot nowadays.
yeah, not too
Yeah,
often.
yeah, UK exclusive. All right. Yeah, so that all the super chat we've gotten today? Is that all the burning questions we've gotten today?
I do believe that is all of the burning questions.
All
So
right.
with that, guys, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It has been a pleasure to stream for you. If you are enjoying this stream or this podcast on another platform of choice that allows you to like or review us, please be sure to do so. It really helps the channel grow and gain more viewers and listeners. So, but until next week, I hope you all have a great rest of your week. And Baku, do you have any closing thoughts that you'd like to leave the audience with?
Yeah, absolutely. Still looking for that oral baron amongst you. Please show yourself, and also play Asia. Hmm?
Oh
Play
yeah.
Asia. Come on, play. Come on. Let's talk, play Asia.
All
All
right.
righty.
Have a great night, everybody.
Take care.